The film begins with Yelena, a highly trained secret agent working under CIA Director Valentina. Despite her dangerous assignments and elite status, Yelena feels empty inside. Her life feels meaningless, a void filled with endless darkness. The reason behind this haunting emptiness is the grief she still carries for her sister's tragic death, a loss she has never truly healed from. Meanwhile, Valentina finds herself under fire at a press conference. She is publicly accused of conducting unauthorized and illegal human experiments aimed at creating superhuman. These accusations threaten to destroy her career. In response, Valentina makes a bold statement. "I am doing this to save the world, because now the Avengers are gone. No one is coming to save us anymore." The court announces a full-scale investigation into all institutions connected to Valentina. Based on the finding, a decision will be made, either a punishment or the withdrawal of charges. In the next scene, Yelena is in Malaysia, at a covert research facility. Her mission is to erase evidence that could incriminate Valentina. All other labs linked to Valentina have already been destroyed by CIA agents, and this one is the last remaining. Yelena confronts the lead scientist, terrifying him to the point where he takes his own life. Mission complete. She exits the building and detonates a remote-controlled bomb, obliterating the lab behind her. Afterward, Yelena visits her stepfather, Alexei, sharing how lost and broken she feels. Alexei listens patiently and then offers heartfelt advice. Why not take on missions that actually help people? Do something meaningful, missions that have a purpose and bring you peace. Yelena takes his words to heart. She approaches Valentina and tells her that she no longer wants to operate in the shadows. From now on, her missions must be public, with transparency and purpose. Valentina reluctantly agrees, but with one final condition. Yelena must complete one last secret mission. After that, she'll be free to choose her own path. The mission, a top-secret vault, contains a rogue agent named Ava Starr, also known as Ghost, who possesses the power to vanish at will. Ava has been stealing classified research data from the vault. Yelena must eliminate her. Yelena agrees and is soon shown approaching the vault. Inside, she doesn't find Ava immediately. Instead, a boy named John suddenly attacks her. Then, a third unknown agent arrives and fights John. Amidst the chaos, Ava appears and swiftly kills the third agent. Yelena, caught in the crossfire, is momentarily disoriented. Then, a frightened and confused man enters the scene. Moments later, the vault seals shut. It's at this moment that Yelena realizes she has been betrayed. Valentina has set them all up. These agents aren't enemies. They are potential witnesses who know the truth about Valentina's illegal experiment. She orchestrated the mission to ensure they would kill each other. Yelena immediately explains the situation to John, Ava, and the frightened man. "Valentina has tricked us," she said. "She wants us to destroy each other so no one can expose her." The four of them are now trapped together. Ava tries to phase through the walls using her powers, but discovers that the vault is lined with sound wave barriers, disabling her ability. Meanwhile, Valentina, watching through surveillance, orders a bomb to be planted to destroy the vault and everyone inside. Inside, Yelena formulates a plan: deactivate the sound barrier so Ava can escape and open the door from the outside. The team searches frantically for the battery source powering the barrier. Valentina activates a countdown timer on the bomb, unaware of their progress. Just in time, the group locates the battery and disables the sound barrier. Ava escapes, phases through the wall, and opens the vault from the outside, saving the team moments before the detonation. Once Valentina learns they survive, she is furious. Even more troubling, she spots the frightened man on CCTV footage. She had no idea he was even in the vault. "Who is he?" she demands. Her assistant begins digging into his identity. Meanwhile, she sends more agents to hunt the group down. What Valentina doesn't know is that her current driver is actually Alexei, Yelena's stepfather. Alexei had discovered Valentina's plan and infiltrated her organization from within. Back inside, John asks the frightened man, now identified as Bob, "What were you doing in that vault?" Bob replies honestly, "I don't remember anything clearly. The only thing I recall is that I once donated blood for a medical experiment. Then, I woke up here." John, mistrusting him, begins beating Bob, thinking he's lying. thing. Yelena steps in and breaks the fight. Enough. If we want to survive, we need to work together. John then uses his enhanced strength to break through a wall leading to an emergency lift. But due to a power outage, the lift is non-functional. Thinking quickly, he proposes a daring plan. They'll climb upward using cables and teamwork, literally tying themselves together at the waist. Meanwhile, Valentina uncovers the shocking truth. Bob was one of her early test subjects. She had believed all subjects were dead. Realizing that Bob survived means one of her experiments worked. An unthinkable breakthrough. Intrigued and alarmed, she rushes to the vault. The group finally climbs through the lift shaft and reaches an upper level, only to find Valentina's agents waiting. But this time, Valentina wants them alive. She needs Bob for further testing. She orders a controlled blast to breach the area and storms inside. Yelena shields Bob and says, "If you want to live, stay behind." Bob looks terrified, caught between his lost past and the chaos around. As Bob sat quietly, lost in thought, he looked at Yelena and said, "I think all of this is happening because of something wrong I've done." Yelena turned to him and replied gently, "Don't think like that. We've all been through something terrible in life. We've all endured pain or committed mistakes." As they spoke, a sudden noise interrupted them, the unmistakable sound of fighting nearby. Rushing outside, they saw John standing tall amidst a group of unconscious enemies. He had single-handedly taken down everyone who had approached, but their troubles weren't over yet. Valentina, realizing her team had failed, immediately dispatched another group of armed men to the location. The new wave of attackers approached swiftly. Yelena, ever the skilled warrior, leapt into action. She fought valiantly, protecting Bob while eliminating the enemies one by one. John soon joined the battle, helping to secure their escape route. Knowing they had to flee quickly, Yelena disguised herself in one of the fallen enemies' uniforms and led the group out. They approached a car to escape, but a suspicious guard stopped them. A tense exchange followed between John and the guard, threatening to expose their cover. Suddenly, Bob stepped out of the car with a gun. He fired a single shot into the air to grab everyone's attention. "I need to say something," he shouted, hoping to explain, but the guard misread his intention. Fearing Bob was a threat, he signaled for backup. All the guards opened fire. Valentina, watching from a distance, screamed for them to stop. Bob was her experiment, and she didn't want him killed. She needed to see how far her creation had evolved. But it was too late. Bob collapsed under the hail of bullets. Yelena and John watched in horror, mourning what they believed was his death. Taking advantage of the chaos, they escaped the facility. Moments later, we see something extraordinary. Bob, still lying on the ground, begins to move. His wounds start healing rapidly. Despite being hit by what seemed like 1,000 bullets, he rises again, his body fully restored. The soldiers, shocked, open fire once more. But this time Bob reacts differently. He lifts into the air like a rocket, flying toward the clouds. Suspended in the sky, he seemed to be thinking deeply, until suddenly, he fainted. His body dropped back toward the earth like a meteor. The force of his landing flipped Yelena and John's car nearby. As the dust settled, the team, Yelena, John, and Ava, looked on in disbelief. John broke the silence. "He's Valentina's experiment. She was trying to create a superhuman. I came to the vault to destroy all evidence of this." The truth stunned everyone. Elsewhere, morning arrived. Valentina, composed yet calculating, ordered her assistant, "Bring Bob in alive. I need him. As for the others, eliminate them." Meanwhile, Alexei had arrived on the scene. Yelena was shocked to see him. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Alexei replied, "I overheard Valentina's plan to kill you. From her own words, I discovered this vault's location. Your life was in danger. I had to come." As the team prepared to leave in Alexei's car, Valentina's agents launched an ambush. A gunfight erupted. John tried to protect them using his shield, but it had lost its power. They were cornered and facing certain death. Then, like a miracle, a mysterious hero arrived. He attacked Valentina's men, disabling their vehicles and saving the group. The scene transitions to Valentina and Bob inside a watchtower. Bob was visibly distressed. Seeing Valentina made him recoil in fear. "You ruined me," he whispered. "You turned my life into something horrible." Valentina calmly approached. "No," she said. "I gave your life meaning. You now have the strength of 100 men. You can do anything." As she touched his hand, something strange happened. Valentina was suddenly transported into the void, a dark world representing Bob's mind. There, she relived her own suppressed trauma. The moment her father was gunned down during her childhood. Startled, she pulled her hand away and ordered her assistant, "Prepare a press conference. It's time to reveal Bob to the world." Elsewhere, the man who had helped the group escape earlier now stood in front of them. "You'll need to testify against Valentina," he said sternly. The group hesitated. "We'll do it," said Yelena. "But first, we have to stop her. That's more important right now." They told the man everything about Valentina, her experiment, and how Bob had become what he is. But the man didn't fully believe them. Then his phone rang. It was Valentina's assistant. "She's holding a press conference," the assistant said, "about Bob." The man's expression changed. He now realized the truth. Valentina had created something incredibly dangerous. He turned back to the group. "My name is Bucky," he said. "Will you help me stop Valentina and Bob before it's too late?" Yelena replied, "But we're not heroes. We've done terrible things." Bucky smiled gently. "So have I. But that doesn't mean we can't change. I started over. I chose to do good. You can too. And if we work together, we might just save the world." His word inspired them. One by one, they nodded. They would help him. Back in the watchtower, Valentina was now training Bob to control his powers. She taught him how to harness both his physical and mental strength. At the same time, Yelena, John, Ava, and Bucky made their way toward the watchtower. Upon arrival, they were met by Valentina's elite guard. A fierce battle erupted at the base of the tower. As the team pushed forward, they suddenly heard Valentina's voice echoing through a speaker. "Come up. I was already waiting for you." As the team reached the top of the watchtower, Valentina stood confidently before them. She ordered Bob to step forward, now clad in a sleek, futuristic uniform. "This," she declared, "is Bob no longer. He is Sentry, a being more powerful than 10 Avengers combined." The group watched in disbelief as Valentina smiled proudly. She continued, "I've brought you here for a reason. In just a short while, we'll go live with a press conference. And during that event, Sentry will fight you all to showcase his strength to the world." Her plan was clear. A public display of Sentry's might would clear her name, remove any restrictions, and make her the architect of the next superhuman era. Yelena, deeply disturbed by the idea, tried to reason with Bob. "You don't have to do this. This isn't who you are." But Sentry calmly responded, "You should join us, Yelena. Valentina's team will change the world." His words infuriated Alexei. He lunged at Sentry, but with a single effortless push, Sentry hurled him against the wall. The rest of the team attacked together, hoping to overpower him. But Sentry simply raised one hand and sent all of them crashing to the floor. His power was unmatched. Yelena, gasping for breath, realized the truth. They couldn't defeat him. "We're wasting energy," she whispered. "We have to retreat." Valentina smirked and ordered Sentry, "Kill them. Hunt them down, one by one." But Sentry turned to her and said calmly, "I won't. They pose no threat to me. You want them dead? That's your problem, not mine. I'm not your weapon." Below, the team regrouped. Yelena, weighed down by failure, muttered bitterly, "We're all losers," and walked away. Her harsh words left the others disheartened. They slowly drifted apart, except Alexei, who followed after her to comfort her. Meanwhile, something was changing inside Sentry. Feeling the extent of his power, he began to believe he was more than human, a god. Valentina noticed the shift. Fear crept into her mind. Sentry was becoming unstable and uncontrollable. Quietly, she activated her kill switch, designed to neutralize, but Sentry sensed her betrayal. He grabbed her by the neck before she could press the button. The kill switch fell from her hand. Just as Valentina began to lose consciousness, her assistant rushed in and pressed the button. In an instant, Sentry vanished. But he wasn't dead. He had been sent into the void, a dark, dimensionless space filled with shadows and negativity. His physical form became a ghostly version of itself, his existence more shadow than man. He rose into the sky. A guard, seeing this terrifying figure, fired at him. Only only to be turned into a shadow with a flick of Sentry's hand. Helicopters approached to engage. He destroyed them with a single motion, turning them and their pilots into shadows. One crashing helicopter struck a building, which began to collapse. On the ground, Yelena, John, Ava, Alexei, and Bucky immediately jumped into action. They rescued as many civilians as they could, pulling people from under rubble, tearing down walls, and guiding them to safety. Cheers erupted from the crowd. For the first time, the team felt a sense of pride and purpose. They weren't losers, they were heroes. But peace didn't last. Sentry had begun spreading his own shadow across the world, infecting others with his darkness, turning people into silhouettes of their former self. Darkness and despair followed wherever he went. Yelena knew that conventional methods wouldn't stop him, so she made a decision to enter the void herself. Surrendering to the same darkness that consumed Sentry, she transformed into a shadow and crossed into the void. Alexei, watching her vanish, was devastated. Inside the void, Yelena searched for Bob, but before she could find him, the darkness overwhelmed her mind. She relived her most painful memory, when her mistake had led to the death of a young girl. She was trapped in that moment until another memory took over, one heartbreak after another. Still, she pressed on, desperate to find Bob. Finally, in one memory, she saw him. She approached him. "Why didn't you stop this?" she asked. Bob's voice trembled. "It's not me. It's the darkness inside me. I was alone too long. It became part of me." Yelena then saw flashes of his past, his father's cruelty, his isolation, his pain. Her anger turned into empathy. She sat beside him and gently took his hand. But as they connected, the negativity around them lashed out, threatening to consume them both. Just then, their friends arrived. John, Alexei, Ava, and Bucky, each of them having entered the void, facing their own darkest memory. United, they fought back against the shadow. Together, they saved Yelena and Bob. The group decided that they had to bring Bob back from the void. To do that, they would need to help him face all the disturbing memories that haunted him. Yelena and Bob agreed. Together, they began fighting through Bob's deepest, darkest memory. Each memory was filled with pain, moments of fear, loneliness, and abuse. Eventually, they reached the most traumatic memory, the moment Bob was experimented on in Valentina's lab. There, on the cold table, the memory didn't show Bob, but rather the void itself. Manifested before them was Bob's dark, negative self, a being created from his suffering and isolation. Bob stepped forward, choosing to fight this part of himself. He fought with everything he had, punching relentlessly. But with each blow, Bob lost more of himself. He didn't realize that by fighting the void, he was becoming it. His body began to turn black, consumed by the same darkness he was trying to defeat. Just as he was about to disappear completely, Yelena reached out from below and grabbed his hand. She pulled him back and reminded him he was not alone anymore. The entire team surrounded him, lifting him with their strength and hope. They promised to always stand by him. As Bob realized he wasn't alone, the negativity within him started to fade. The void and the dark version of himself began to vanish. Light returned to the world. The shadows he had spread disappeared, and the people who had turned into darkness were restored to their human form. It was then revealed that Bob had forgotten everything because of his damaged memory. Now reunited, the group turned to their final task, ending Valentina. They found her standing near a curtain. As Yelena approached to confront her, the curtain dropped, revealing a stage. Valentina had called a press conference. She stood before the world, introducing the group as the new Avenger, claiming they were the result of her years of research. She declared her innocent, twisting the truth for her benefit. Yelena recognized Valentina's cunning manipulation, but held back. At last, they had the world's attention, recognition, and appreciation. Just as things settled, a satellite alert appeared, revealing a new global threat. And with that, the movie ended, as a new mission began.